Hello, welcome back. All right, still on revision questions. Okay, so here now we're going to be solving questions on we're going to be solving questions on inequalities. Inequalities. All right. Okay, so let's begin with the very first. Okay, so the question naturally goes this way: solve the inequality. All right, so we have to solve the inequality 2 minus x is greater than x squared. Now, there's one thing I want to let you know, which of course I believe you know already. Okay, is the method we actually employ in solving linear equation, quadratic equation, and any form of equation is also the same method we're gonna employ in solving inequalities. All right. The difference between inequalities and that of equation is that in the place of equal to in equations, inequalities will have either greater than, less than, greater or equal to, or less than equal to. All right. So it is still similar method, but there's just a slight difference. And of course, um, if I get to the point where uh, I actually introduce or probably I solve any question, okay, that depicts the difference between equation, all right, and inequality, and of course I would let you know. Okay, now I can even tell you the difference is this: anytime you are solving inequalities, if you happen to multiply either side of the equation by a negative value, all right. Anytime you multiply both sides of the equation, put it this way: anytime you multiply both sides of the equation by a negative value, all right, then the inequality sign will change. If it is greater than, it will change to less than. If it was less than, it will change to greater than. All right, so that is the only difference. Okay, other than that, the same way you solve quadratic equation, linear equation, or any form of equation, you can also apply that to inequality. So let's solve this. So as you can see, this particular inequalities, all right, is going to be a quadratic inequality. Yes, it will be. So what I would do is, okay, what I would do as a matter of fact is I'm going to take, all right, s squared to this other side of the equation. If I take s squared to the other side of the equation, I'm going to have minus x squared. All right. Then, of course, already have plus 2, then minus x. Okay. Is greater than, nothing is here already. Nothing is here is 0. Okay. So you know that this particular expression is a quadratic expression, but I would not want to have this negative sign, right, in front of s squared. So what will I do for me to remove this negative sign, all right? So I have to multiply both sides by a negative value, minus 1. Okay, so for me to eliminate this negative sign, all right, in front of s squared as a coefficient of s squared, so I have to multiply both sides. So if I multiply minus times minus s squared, that will give me plus s squared. I'm multiplying through, all right? Okay, let me write that down. So let's look at this. Look at what we are doing here. Multiply through by minus 1. So minus 1 into x squared, that's going to give me x squared. Minus 1 into plus 2, that's going to give me minus 2. All right, okay. Uh, to make it, to actually write it in a standard form, the x is supposed to come first. All right, so let's start with the x. Minus x multiplied by minus 1, that's going to give me plus x. Okay, before the plus 2. Minus 2 multiplied by minus 1, that's going to give me minus 2. All right, so of course, minus 1 multiplied by 0 give me minus 0. But now remember what I told you, because I multiply both sides by a negative value, all right, the inequality sign will change from greater than to less than. So this is how it's going to be. So I just have to solve this quadratic expression. Okay, so you can do that by factorization. Okay, it is much easier. I multiply the first term and the last term. I write it in a rough. S squared multiplied by minus x will give me minus 2x squared. So I'm splitting this into two factors. Okay, into two factors in such a way that If I add it together, it should give me 1x, the middle term. So what are the two factors of minus 2? All right, minus 2x squared. Minus 2x squared, the two factors is going to be equal to 2x times x. Of course, 2x times minus x, because 2x times minus x will give me minus 2x squared. And if I subtract it, 2x minus x minus 1x will give me x. Okay, so this is the factor that will replace this middle term. So I will do that. I'm going to have s squared. So in place of the middle term, which is x, I will replace it by 2x minus x. All right, then this is minus 2 is less than 0. Okay, so now as you can see, I have 4 terms now. I'm going to group it 2 by 2. I'm going to group these 2 together. I'm going to group these 2 together. Then I factorize. So for the first group, the common factor is x. I open a bracket. So this is going to be x, of course, plus 2. For the second group, the common factor is simply minus 1. All right. So, of course, here I'm going to have x, which of course is going to be plus 2, because minus into plus will still give me minus. All right. And of course, you know very well that the two brackets of every quadratic expression after factorizing it must be the same. Okay. So if the first bracket is x plus 2, the second bracket definitely will be x plus 2. So it's less than 0. All right. So now the two brackets are the same, x plus 2, x plus 2. So I take it out as a common factor, x plus 2. Then, of course, open a bracket. The other factors are outside. X minus 1 is less than 0. Okay? Okay, so with what we have here now, we can actually employ the principle of quadratic expression. So you can answer, I would say x plus 2 is less than 0, or I would say x minus 1 is less than 0. So in this case now, x, if I take it to that side, okay, to the other side, okay, so x is, now if I take this to the other side, okay, so x is less than 1. Now, notice one thing. This one this is a negative sign, okay? So in this case, this very first case, x is going to be greater than minus 2, while this one, okay, is x is less than 1 is going to be greater. The one with negative sign will be greater. Okay, while the one with the positive will be, okay, is going to be less than. So now the question is solved. So the value is x is greater than minus 2 or x is less than 1. All right, so please take note of that. All right, here we go. Okay, so let me take this down a bit. So let's solve this. Find the range of values of x that actually satisfy this inequality. So there are two inequalities right here. Okay, so one is 4x minus 7 is less than 3x, and the other is 3x minus 4 is less or equal to 4x. So we'll solve this one first. So this is going to be 4x minus 3x, all right, is less or equal to 7. And this one would do the same. 3x minus 4x is less or equal to 4. Minus 4 becomes 4. From here, I have that x is less or equal to 7. And here, minus x is less or equal to 4. So this one is done. I'm done with this. But you know exactly what I'm going to do to this. I'm going to multiply minus 1 to both sides. Okay, so that's going to give x. Then you know that the sign the inequality sign will change to greater or equal to, all right? If I multiply minus 4, all right? So now the range of value of x actually start from minus 4. So I will write it this way. Minus 4 is less or equal to x, and the x is less or equal to 7. So this is the range. This is the range that we are looking for. The range of the value of x. All right, I hope that is well understood. Okay, another question. So in this case, the expression right here is x squared minus 1 is greater than 0. Okay, so we'll solve this the same way. So we can actually write it this way: x squared is greater than 1. So that's going to be x now is going to be equal to plus or minus the square root of 1. All right, which of course is plus or minus 1. So 1 is minus, the other one is plus. Okay, so of course, writing the range, that means x begin from minus 1 and x begin from, okay, less than minus 1, of course. Okay, let me put it this way: x is actually greater than minus 1, right? Then x is less than plus 1. So we'll write it in a range. If you want to write it in a range, minus 1 is less than x, and x is less than plus 1. Okay, so this is the values or the range. So the value of x is always written as range. Okay, minus 1 is less than x, and x is less than 1. All right, so let's solve this one too. So here I have 3x minus 7 is less than 0, and x plus 5 is greater than 0. Let's work on this. You know exactly what we are going to do. This is 3x, of course, is less or equal to 7. And here I have that x is greater than minus 5. All right, so from this point now, x definitely will be less or equal to 7 all over 3. So that means the range begin from this, where minus 5, all right, is less than x, and of course x is less or equal to 7 all over 3. All right, as a matter of fact, that is how you solve that. Okay, so I have another one. Solution. Okay, so this time around, this is also a quadratic inequality. Okay, so we are going to write it in a standard way. So this is going to be x squared plus 2x. So I move this to the other side. That's going to be minus 15. Then that will be greater than 0. Okay, so let's factorize this, the left hand side. I multiply the first time, x squared multiplied by minus 15x. Minus 15, please pardon me. That's going to be minus 15x squared. Write that in a rough, then I split it into 2 factors. Of course, the 2 factors is going to be for 15 is 5 and 3. And they know very well that I want to have 2, all right? I want the 5 and 3 to give me 2x. So what is it going to be? That's going to be 5x then minus 2s, because 5s minus 2s minus 3s, please pardon me. Okay, it's 5 and 3. 5s minus 3x, that will give me 2x. Okay, so the 2 factors that will replace the middle term is 5x minus 3x. So let's replace it. That's going to be s squared In place of the middle term, so I'm having 5x, all right, minus 3x. Then, of course, minus 15 is greater than 0. So you know very well that I have to group this 2 by 2. Okay, for the first group, the common factor is x. I open a bracket. That's going to be x plus 5. For the second group, the common factor is minus 3. I open a bracket, of course. You know very well that it will still give me x plus 5. The two brackets must be the same. Okay, to show that what you're doing is correct, the two brackets must be the same. So since the two brackets they are the same, I pick 1 as a common factor, and of course, I write the 1 outside, x minus 3. Okay, so let's look at the range. So the very first, we have that x, okay? So since if I take plus 5 to the other side, it's going to be negative, all right? So definitely x is greater than minus 5. Then if I take minus 3 to the other side of the equation, it's going to be positive, okay? So that means x is less than 3. So our range starts from the negative to the positive. Okay, so definitely the solution, the range of value of x, all right, begin with minus 5 is less than x, and of course x is less than 3. All right, here I have another one. Okay, so this one is kind of tricky. I hope you can see the question, but I can still write it down. So we are having 1 all over 2x plus 1 all over 4 is greater than 1 all over 3x plus 1 all over 2. In this case, now what do we do? Since everything here, right, are fractions, so we have to eliminate the fraction by eliminating the denominator. And how do we achieve that? Okay, we'll multiply by the LCM of the denominator. So we'll multiply through. So what is the LCM of 2, 4, 3, 2? That should be 12, all right? Because 12 can be divided by all these factors without remainder. So we'll multiply through by 12. Okay, so let's do that. That's going to be 12 times 1 all over 2x plus 12 times 1 all over 4 is greater than 12 times 1 all over 3 plus 12 times 1 all over 2. 12 divided by 2, that is 6x. Here I have 3 greater than, here I have 4. All right, this is supposed to be x. This is supposed to be x right here. That's 1 over 3x, so I should put, this is x right here, okay? So here I'm having 4x. Then, of course, 12 all over 2. Okay, CLT, collecting like terms. Collecting like terms. So this is going to be 6x. I take this minus 4x. I take this to the other side. That's 6 minus 3. So this is going to be 2x. 6 minus 3 is 4. So x is greater than 4 all over 2, which of course x is greater than 2. As simple as that. Okay, so that is it for this video. We are going to look at more in the next video. Okay, so you can still go through this video one more time for a better understanding. All right, so see you in the next video. Thank you very much.